It's all repeats nowadays. I just have it on for background noise, really. I've never been able to sit in silence. I've always liked her on it. The one married to a footballer, got that lovely little bob that sort of swings about whenever she speaks. I can never remember the names. They all sort of merge into one. Angela, Arlene, something. I'm rubbish with names. Even with the kids, I call them each other's names all the time. My Will has always said to me, "Mum, I'm surprised you don't get us to wear name tags around the house sometimes." I say, "You try having 3 boys and see if you don't get it wrong once or twice." And I say, "Look, you know, if I call for one of you, I must need to see all 3 of you because no doubt I'm having a go at one of you for something the other one has done." "No name tag needed for me," Julie normally pipes up at that point. No name tag and never any punishment needed for little Julie. She's my good girl, always has been. Then the boys will go on about her being my favourite and I'll say, "I love you all the same," because I do. My Julie's my special girl. But my boys do make me smile. The one I like with the nice bob and the footballer, she used to speak so lovely when it was on properly. So softly, but they would all listen to her well, even though she's only a young thing. Last time she was on this properly, she was saying that the one thing we must remember to do in today's world is to laugh with each other. "Keep laughing," she goes, "because even when everything is bleak and there doesn't seem to be much hope in the world, you've got to keep laughing with your loved ones." And that was nice to hear. She said that weeks ago then. Wasn't much hope then, but more than there is now. But the way she said it, it almost made you think maybe, just maybe, there was a chance by us all laughing and carrying on, we'd generate some sort of miracle. I've been thinking a lot of her recently. She's got 2 boys. Hope they're making her laugh. Really, I just stick it on to keep track of time. You forget what day it is otherwise. If you don't keep up your schedule, you'll stop knowing when one day finishes and another day begins. They don't have the time on the channels anymore, of course. That went a couple of weeks ago, so the days did blur as people weren't clock watching. But I know that every morning I come down, do my housework, ironing along to my radio, and then telly goes on while I have a cup of tea. My days have started to blur in the middle, I'll admit. I found myself, of late, finishing the ironing, sitting with my cuppa, and then drifting off into space until Gavin, opening the front door, snaps me out again. "2 in my head," he said when he caught me the first time. "Away with the fairies. Not good enough." Got right telling off that night. What's the point of me going to work, carrying on, if I'm going to come home and find all my kids locked in their room and my wife in the kitchen doing nothing? And I wanted to say, "But darling, there's nothing to be done." But I didn't. I want to say, "You going to work, darling, in a company that sells stationery at a time like this? You might as well all be sitting at your desks staring off into space because, frankly, I'd like to see what a novelty pen is going to do in protecting us when that time comes." Nothing to be done. But I don't say that. No point. So now I listen out for the car door, make sure I'm up before he steps in. Gavin's all for the keep calm and carrying on. No doubt he's made a couple of pennies from putting that on a few notepads. And I was behind that sentiment at the beginning because we'd been living by that idea for years. So why not? It felt perfectly comfortable with us. And then, last afternoon, when I was staring at my garden, kids upstairs playing on their games, Julie's got her music on full blast and the telly's on and these women are jabbing on about a world that no one can really remember anymore, and the house was alive with noise. And I realised I wasn't. Alive, that is. I think I've been away with the fairies for years. Julie was arguing with me about having a boy over, and I refused because if her dad found out, we'd all be dead, including that innocent boy. And she was yelling about how he'd never have to know and her life was already over as it was. And didn't I remember being her age? And I said no. But I wasn't saying no to the boy. I don't remember being her age. I know it happened, I can see it, but I can't remember the feeling. I remember it all like I watched it from afar, which is what I thought life was, a thing that happened to you. So when the news hit that the days were numbered and the kids were crying and Gavin is calling his work pals to make sure everyone is okay, I just sat there. I didn't feel upset, it just sort of washed over me. And then my little Julie starts screaming, "It's not fair, it's not fair, I didn't get my chance to live." And suddenly, I'm angry too. I lose the plot, I boil over, it was extraordinary. I wanted to scream, "Neither did I!" I didn't do that. Would have spooked the kids and Gavin would have had a few words to say, so instead, just went to the kitchen and made some tea. The kettle boiled, and by the time it had clicked done, I'd stopped feeling anything again. Thought the reaction was probably down to the shock of the news or the menopause. So I carried on. And we have been carrying on since then. Even though the taking down of clocks and the news cycles drying up and the sound of our world working became just a low hum. The birds got louder, which was nice. And I was thinking that yesterday afternoon when I was staring outside and I realised I wasn't alive, but that I was breathing. And I can't stop thinking about how that woman is doing with her boys. And if that bob wiggles when she laughs. And I just thought, what if I divorce him? And then I laughed for the first time in my life. I've never understood what people meant by belly laughing because my past experience had been a sort of strained hacking sort of sound from the back of your throat. But here I was in my little kitchen laughing from the bottom of my gut. It felt like it was bouncing off the corners of my belly and up my windpipe and whoa, bursting out of me. It was so loud I had to hold my jaw for fear of it just unhinging itself. I didn't want any of the kids to hear, so I jammed my mouth shut down by really biting on the inside of my lips. It reminded me of when I was giving birth. I didn't make a sound through any of my deliveries. Gavin would tell that as an anecdote during dinner parties, almost like he was proud. No one heard the laugh. Headphones were on upstairs. Music was blaring. What if I divorced him? I've known Jackie for years. School friend up until 18. She'd gone off to university, Warwick, I think. I'd stayed here. I'd had 2 kids by the time she got her first degree. She always kept in touch, though. Christmas cards, mainly. "You could have studied law, Lou." She calls me Lou, even now at 45. "You were top of the class with me." I thought just knowing I could have would have been satisfying enough. "Lou, how are you? How are the kids? Haven't heard from you in ages," she's saying. "I'm fine. Jackie, they're fine. We're fine. Just carrying on," she says. I tell her my joke. Except she doesn't laugh. She also doesn't ask me why. Just if I'm sure. I know the timing is... Oh, you'd be surprised, she said. I've never been busier. Really? Oh, yes, she says, because everyone wants it done before... But I can bump you up my priorities. I can come and talk to you. He works during the day, so any time during the day. I can be over on Friday or tomorrow, if that's not too short notice and it's not too late. It's never too late, Lou. Huh? I'm expecting her any second. It's a funny thing, this whole doomsday mayhem. It's a funny thing to be hopeful about.